If you're planning on playing Mr.Hopps Playhouse 3 when it comes out, you probably want to watch this video, because this will be telling you everything you need to know before you play Mr.Hopps Playhouse 3. Literally letting you know what the entire game's premise is about, and talking about the whole entire release date, what can you expect, like, you know, what other games you have to play to actually understand this, things like that. So if you already understand and know everything you need to know about Mr.Hopps Playhouse, then, you know, you don't really need to go and watch this video. But if you just found the game looking extremely interesting, since it definitely does look interesting, and you don't really know anything about the Mr.Hopps franchise, well, this video is for you. And without further ado, let's go and hop into the video. Get it? Hop, Mr. Hopps? Never mind. So, Mr.Hopps Playhouse 3 is going to be a single-player game that, you know, you'll be able to play on Steam, and it is coming soon, coming out March 18th. Officially, the time is sadly unknown. The developers are on, like, a UK base, so they're going to be around 4 hours behind than us, so in EST time, depends on your time zone. If you're EST, just look it up, see the actual difference. And the whole entire game is, like I said, a third game. Mr.Hopps Playhouse as a whole franchise released many games like Mr.Hopps Playhouse, 1 Hour Mr. Hopps, Mr.Hopps Playhouse 2, and Mr.Hopps Playhouse Manor Escape, with this new one being the third game here. But do not worry, because Mr.Hopps 1 Hour Mr.Hopps Playhouse, since you can't even play it anymore, is also not canon to the actual game. Same thing with Mr.Hopps Manor Escape. Those two games are not even canon. The only one to actually play before you need to play this, if you want to play it in order, you should play Mr.Hopps Playhouse 2 and then Mr.Hopps Playhouse 1 when we're talking about a timeline order. But if you just want to play in release order, then play Mr.Hopps Playhouse 1 and then Mr.Hopps Playhouse 2, because this game is actually going to be taking place 6 months after Mr.Hopps Playhouse 1, you know, after the events of Ruby and, you know, the house. And now it says here, this is the whole description right here: after a close encounter, Ruby ends up stuck in the underworld, a realm where lost souls roam eternally through the darkness. She happens upon another human girl called Esther, and together they must solve puzzles, avoid traps, overcome hellish enemies to find the 6 medallions and put an end to the entity's region. I think I even said that right, once and for all. So, exactly kind of like the second game, we'll be having characters from the first and second game, being Ruby from the first game and Esther from the second game. If you do not know, Esther is actually Ruby's grandmother that actually died in Mr.Hopps Playhouse 1. You know, spoilers, I should have said that, but anyhow, yeah. So, now they're both in the same timeline, and, you know, both kids. Yeah, it didn't really make sense in the beginning, but it kind of makes sense now. The game is going to be based after a PS1 to a Nintendo 64 graphic style. That's why it looks like that, and it definitely makes the game really unique, because the first 2 games are all 8-bit games and they're not like a 3D form. This is the very first Mr.Hopps game to ever have a 3D format, so it definitely makes it a more interesting gameplay. And to the minimum specs you need for your PC is a Windows 7 or higher, a 64-bit processor, a processor from an Intel 9.5 or higher, at least 2 gigabytes of RAM, and NVIDIA graphics, I guess any. The storage is at least 407 megabytes available space, because that's how much the game's probably going to take. And for the recommended is Windows 10 and higher, 64-bit processor, Intel 5 or better, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and the same 470 gigabytes available. Most likely any PC will be able to run this, but, you know, if your PC still can't run it, then I guess you get the mobile version. I think they're making a mobile version, but it's also not officially announced. And also, most likely, this game will cost money exactly like the second game, because it looks long and big and been in development for a long time. So expect it to be an estimated $5 price tag, but it could be more and it also could be less. The price has not been even known yet. It could even be for free, which I doubt it, but we do not know anything about the prices just yet. So, you know, keep that in mind. Okay, so the whole entire game, the whole point of the game is, you know, it's a story-based game too. It has voice lines, and the whole thing is about 2 young girls must solve puzzles, avoid traps, and overcome hellish enemies to find the 6 medallions and put an end to the entity's reign, whatever it's called. So, the whole entire game is going to be literally a puzzle horror game, where it's going to be having jump scares here and there. It's going to be really kind of dark, and also you have to solve around puzzles, and kind of, you know, work your way and understand the surroundings and survive enemies being the entity. And also you have to fight different ones like Mrs. Bow and Mr. Stripes, even Mr. Hopps, like in the second game of, you know, Mr. Hopps Playhouse, and also it just uses the regular mechanics like W, A, S, and D. So if you're just a casual gamer that knows how to play any game, though this technically uses the exact same mechanics as any other games, but if you never actually played, games recently and it's like your first game or something like that, this is going to be obviously W, A, S, and D to move around, and E to interact, C to crouch, and space to attack. So I guess there's going to be also attacking, we'll be able to fight back once you're able to fight, and the developer also describes the content to be frightening themed. So if you are scared about it and you don't really like horror games, then this game is not really for you. But anywho, this game is also probably going to be the last game. I say probably because we have no idea if this is going to be the last game. It's definitely the newest one in the whole entire story, and it might actually end Mr. Hopps as a franchise. Probably there could be no more spin-off games like 1 Hour Mr. Hopps and Mr. Hopps Man Escape. But if you actually want to go and play Mr. Hopps game to actually get a full understanding of it, like I said, you could play within timeline order, or you could play within release order, with timeline order being Mr. Hopps 2, then Mr. Hopps 1, and release order being Mr. Hopps 1 and then Mr. Hopps 2. And then you can wait to play Mr. Hopps 3 when it comes out. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing a whole entire video, no commentary, and I also do have every single one of Mr. Hopps games, even including the filler ones, all on my channel with commentary and no commentary. So if you're interested in that, definitely go look at that. But now just tell me in the comments below what you guys actually do think about this, because this is literally everything you need to know. All your PC specs, everything you could expect from the game. So if you really don't like puzzle horror games, then this is not that for you. This is not the game for you. But if you guys do like the PS1 and the Nintendo 64 style of the game, then you're probably gonna like it. It's looks extremely fun, and they also had a full entire demo. That's the footage I'm showing on the screen right now. It's actually the demo, and where I'm getting all this information from is actually the Steam page, which I will have linked in the description. So if you want to go read that all to yourself, look at this, wishlist the game, it's all your choice. But anywho guys, this is me if this video. See you guys all in the next video. Stay tuned because on March 18th the game comes out, and you'll finally be able to play Mr. Hopps Playhouse 3.